Good morning, Devils fans, for it is Devils night, game night, 10:30 Eastern start time. Man, these Western road trips are a pain. As I've said, same with the last game, I will not be watching this one live. I will instead catch a replay in the morning and then give you my reaction pretty much right after that. Thankfully, the remaining games on this Western road trip, Edmonton and Calgary, are matinee afternoon games locally, so we get 4 p.m. start times for us. Love to see that at least. Normally, when these are whatever 3, 4, 10 p.m. or later start times on these Western road trips over a whole week, brutal stuff. But thankfully, we only really had to deal with 2 of them this time, at least on this stretch. So let's go ahead and dive into looking at Seattle, as that is who we are playing tonight. Nate Bastian's very quick tenure over there, and they record-wise are atrocious. They've won like 8 out of their 26 games played, something like that. They've played quite a few. A good amount of loser overtime points in there for them, but it's not looking great in Seattle, almost entirely. And stop me if you've heard this before, because of their goaltending. If you look at their actual forward and defensive pairings, lines, whatever, they play pretty well. Now, they're not quite getting the depth scoring that carried them to an insane season last year. And by not quite, I mean basically not at all. Their top 6 is still looking quite good. I mean, Beniers, McCann, Eberle are producing points. But the bottom 6 is fairly barren from a production standpoint. So between their goalies absolutely selling almost every single game and then needing to rely on just the top 6 and absolutely no depth scoring. And it's not like McCann is having this world beater season yet again. Beniers has also taken a bit of a step back from last year. They just don't have the offensive firepower to carry them through such a poor goalie performance, where we do. That's kind of been the big difference. We have the poor goalie performances, but we have the offensive firepower, between not just the forwards, but the defensive pairings as well, to kind of carry us through that, at least so far for the most part. Yeah, we're technically on the outside looking in for the playoffs, but some games in hand, if we win these next 2, heck, if we sweep this Western road trip, I think we're at worst 3rd, if not 2nd in the Metro just off of that. So things are trending in the right direction. However, speaking of trending in the right direction, Seattle's 5-on-5 play has skyrocketed. They actually were fairly middling to not so great, even with their forward and D pairs. And then obviously that didn't help their goaltending situation. But this last 10 game stretch or so, again, they've kind of been tanked out by their goalies. But the actual on ice play from their skaters have been exceptional, really good. So definitely are going to need to keep an eye on that. And while their depth is not scoring and their defensive pairings don't really have a ton of offensive firepower either, they do push play in the right direction for the most part. So expect a very grindy type game. Seattle does not relent. They play a very heavy in-your-face style. They are going to want to push the play in towards our net and hope, that they find the net in the right places. So I'm assuming, hopefully, we will get Akira tonight. You remove that San Jose game, and his numbers are average. Obviously, you don't just remove a game because it was bad. So overall, his numbers have not been great. But this could be a good bounce back game for him. Vitek, while he got the W, did not have the strongest of performances. Once again, letting in 5 goals. I don't know exactly where the coaching staff is going to go with it, though. He got the win. Maybe they want to try and give him the confidence boost because he did look a little shaken after letting in that 5th goal. Maybe they want to go back with him, but we'll see. I mean, I would go Akira. No qualms about that, no question. I would go Akira, but we'll see. Beyond that, I mean, we had the much more talented, much more offensive firepower team. I do think they're going to play a style that is going to be quite frustrating for our system to play against, but I obviously will give us the edge here. Now, when you talk special teams, their penalty kill is bottom 10 by actual performance. Metrics-wise, they're fairly middle of the road. So not a huge surprise. Their goalies are the one tanking them out in the penalty kill. Their power play is also fairly middle of the road, and the numbers also bear that out from an actual production standpoint. And then actually, are they getting PDO'd or whatever? It's pretty average. So our PK maybe could have a good little bounce back here. Yeah, they gave up the 1 goal to Vancouver, but that Vancouver power play is electric, and they kind of held down the fort from there on out. I would like to see that trend continue here in Seattle, who does not have anywhere near as deadly of a power play that Vancouver does. Again, penalty kill for them. It's actually ranking out worse than ours from actual on ice. And then the goalie itself is really tanking it for actual production. So we'll see how that continues to bear. I really do think there's a little NHL conspiracy going on, not giving us as many power plays as I think we are drawing. But what are you gonna do? They had top power play in the league, and maybe they just don't want us winning right off of that. Thankfully, our 5-on-5 play has mostly found itself. Now, speaking of our lineup, would not surprise me if we go with the same exact lineup, considering how well it's actually played as far as the skater group goes. But Brendan Smith is back from his suspension. I don't see them sitting Nemec. I normally would have said probably sit the guy who's been playing overall the worst, which has been Kevin Ball. But he had his best game of the season last game. So 2 assists, push the play in the right direction. I don't think he made any glaring errors at all. Hard to sit him. So what do they go with? We'll see. I also think Bastian has been our worst forward, but I know they are really trying to stick with him as well, hoping he finds his groove. So I just, we'll see. We'll see what the line is. I really cannot predict what they're going to go with. I think the skater group played pretty well. Bastian's been our worst forward, but we also need Mercer to find his groove with not being stapled to Jack. We need Timo to find his groove as well, also not being stapled to Jack. Do they shake up the bottom 6 in some way, trying to get that going? The top 6 has looked really good, but really Jack and Toffoli have played insanely well with whoever that next forward is with them, whether it's Mercer, whether it's Hollow, whether it's Timo. Do they shake that up a bit? Again, my preference would probably be throw Timo up with Jack, just let him find his groove that way. Throw Holla down to the 3rd line, move McLeod up to 3rd line center, and drop Mercer to 4th line. But I don't see them doing that. I really don't ever see them moving Mercer out of the top 9 because he's, coach's pet. He's the motor. He's the Newfoundland good boy. Not quite having that dog in him, though. So they'll find their way. I mean, with Jack, Nico, Bratt, Palat even, Toffoli, all playing how they're playing. Luke, Nemitz even just in this small sample size. I'm not too worried about it. Thankfully, this team is just so stacked that when other guys are sinking, their guys can really take over. That's why I was so optimistic about the team coming into the season because, yeah, generally speaking, all your offensive guys are not going to be firing at all cylinders for 82 regular season games start to finish. Jack Hughes probably will, but the rest of them are probably going to have some ebb and flows. Maybe not Nico, who has been electric, has been amazing since coming back. Bratt hopefully found a bit of a scoring touch again with those 2 goals. Would love to see him consistently on the stat sheet again. And if those guys are going, the other guys have some time to figure it out. When everyone's going, oh lordy, that is going to be quite something to watch. I think that really covers it. Again, Seattle's top 6, they produce. Got to keep an eye on them. Lately, they have been really, really ramping up after a slow start to the season. So need to keep our bearings about us while they are out on the ice. The bottom 6 pushes play in the right direction, but has not been producing. So don't give any easy goals, layups to that bottom 6. We cannot afford to do that. And really got to take advantage of a team that is struggling with their goaltending. And we have the firepower to do that. So if our goalies can just outperform their goalies, I'm very optimistic for this one. So that's going to do it for today. Tomorrow is Friday, heading into the weekend. Let's enjoy that. Get a nice win here, and then can actually watch some games live as they happen after this. So see you guys tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go Devils, baby. Oh no, it didn't turn off. For those of you that are still here, hi, extra time here as I get my remote working. I could just reach over and click that button, but